May the 5th, 1999. This is being recorded at 3412 South Landis,
Yes.
Marion, Indiana. I'm speaking with Mr. Johnnie Clayton. Please state your name.
Johnnie Clayton.
Do I have permission to interview you?
Yes.
Do I have permission to submit this interview to Marion High School?
Yes.
Do I have permission to submit this interview to Marion Public Library?
Yes.
Okay, well, will you tell me about being in the war during 1945?
Well, I went in from Chicago in 1945. I went to Fort Sheridan. I had 6 weeks of basic training in Fort Sheridan, Illinois. And then from there I went to North Carolina, Fort Bragg. I had 17 weeks of infantry training there. And after that, I went overseas. It was peacetime. They declared war. And I don't just remember what year it was, but I remember they declared war. And I went over in Germany. And it was peacetime. And I also was in the 589th Medical Ambulance Supply. And I was in Augsburg, Germany. And I was in Stuttgart, Germany, and Munich, Germany. So after that, I came back and I re-enlisted for another year. And after that year was out, I was shipped back to Camp Kilmer, New Jersey. And from there, I went to Camp Campbell, Kentucky. And that's why I was discharged in 1947. And after that, I went back to Chicago and I got married there. And my wife and I stayed together. I married about a year or so, and from job to job. I didn't have a steady job. I was mostly from job to job, from here to there. So that's just about the part of the war, as far as the war is concerned.
Can you tell me any memories that you have about during the war? Anything?
Well, it was peace. The only thing I can tell you from what I just heard from different ones that was in the Second World War, because I wasn't in the Second World War. I wasn't in the fighting in that campaign. I wasn't in that. But from what I could hear from the fellows that did go over, and some came back and some did not come back. And that's just about all I could tell you about concerning the war, where the war is concerned.
Yeah. You said you were over there in peacetime?
It was peacetime, yes.
Can you tell me, like, when you first?
Well, when I went on the ship, it was kind of a frightening situation, and I never had been on a big ship like that before, and plus was sickness, and you would get seasick from the ship. You know, it was tossing and it was turn. You know, just from the waves and going up, and it would tell you to eat, and you probably would throw it up. Someone couldn't stay on their stomach, and it probably would throw it up. You know, and then after it took us 21 days to get over there, and after I got over there, it was very nice. I enjoyed the time that I was in Germany, because it was, just like I said before, it was peacetime. And I was in the medical, and I was driving a supply vehicle. And so it was, I guess, supposedly about 50 of us, what they call, stayed in a castle. Most over in Germany, they have what you call a castle. And, you know, it was a big house. And about 50 or 60, not inmates, but soldiers in that building, and it was very nice. I enjoyed the time I was over there. I wish I had re-enlisted for longer, but I had my mind set on a certain girl back here, and it didn't pan out which it didn't come out right. Uh, she and I was going to get married, and we corresponded the whole time I was in the service. And so after I got out of the service, she knew that I was going to get discharged, and I was down at Camp Campbell, Kentucky, and I got a room on the base, and she was supposed to come, and I sent the money order from the post office to her address, and I had a tracer put on it. She got the money, but she never did show it. So that's basically what made me come back to the States, because I had my mind set on that would have been my second marriage. So I had my mind set on getting married to her, and it didn't pan out, and so I just forgotten about it.
Well, how did they treat you when you were over there?
In Germany, it was real nice. We got treated royal over there, because just like I say, we had about 50 of us in one building, and everybody knew everybody, and so we got treated nice by the soldiers, and also by the Germans. We were always treated awfully nice about it. You know, I liked it over there.
Yes.
And I could have stayed over there, but just had a strong mind, and you know, like I feel now, I would have made a career. I could have put 20 years in. But as I say, I wanted to get back in girl, you know, wanted to get married. So that was the situation there.
Yes. What did you eat when you were over there?
We had, I guess, about the choicest food. We had steaks, we had chicken, we had pork chops, we had ham. We had just like it was we had a own kitchen, you know.
Yes, sir.
And when you got something like private like it, you get the best. And so we also, on the weekends, we'd go to Munich and come back, and on the weekend we'd get beer.
Yes, sir.
And we'd set beer out there with the big kegs, you know, was in kegs. And that was the first time in my life I got drunk. And I said I never want to get drunk. And I wind up getting drunk over after that started me to drinking, you know. So what it tastes, because mostly would have no whiskey, have schnapps. Over in Germany they call it schnapps and cognac. And so we drink that, but mostly we had that beer, maybe 12 or 13 kegs just sitting out there in the yard. And all you do is go there and turn the tap on it and drink it.
Yes,
so it was real nice. And at that time, you could only send so much money home, because I used to walk around over there with $6,000 or $7,000 in my pocket every day, because I would loan guys money, and I would give them so much because I was no gambler. I would give them so much I could send only $25 back home for safekeeping, but you couldn't send a whole lot of money back, or you was only allowed to send a certain amount. And so it was real nice over there in Germany when I was over there. And the Germans, they treated you awfully nice over there. I remember once I had a lady, she was a Belgian, and she knitted me a pair. I kept a pair of silk socks.
Yes,
I kept those socks until I don't know how long, and they was real, because she got knit, you know, it was made out of regular silk. She knit me a pair of silk socks. She was a Belgian. She had real black hair, and she was real nice. The seamstress, and they would treat you awfully nice over there. The men's and also the women's over there, the children. It was really nice overseas when I was over there.
Yes, sir. When you first found out that you had to go over there, how did you react? Were you?
Well, I was glad. I was glad. I was young, you know, and then I wanted to see, you know, part of the world, and it was exciting.
Yes. I'm gonna stop the tape right now. Okay.
My mother died when I was about 4 years old, and I was raised by my grandmother and grandfather. It was 3 boys and 1 girl. Martha, that's my sister, Curtis, my brother, and Moses, and Johnny. I was the youngest. And so my job was to take care of the chickens at home and keep the stove wood, because we had a stove and it burned wood. And I would cut fat and down Mississippi, the houses are put up on blocks. And so I would always cut the wood up small and throw some of it underneath of the house for when it rained. And all I do when it rained, all I had to do was go up underneath of the house and get the wood. And Mama kept me for the churning the milk. Mama had 2 or 3 cows. When one go dry, the other one would come in. At the cows, we had plenty of chickens and ducks, geese, and mostly we had exactly what we needed to live off of. And cotton was big cotton. And I didn't, like a lot of kids is today, I'm sorry today that I didn't finish school like I should have. Because it's my fault, it's not my parents, my grandmother, grandfather, it's not their fault, it's mine. But also I was disobedient and didn't want to go to school. So I missed that quite a bit since I've been grown. I've had a lot of opportunities to have a good job on account of I didn't have a good education. I didn't have enough education. So I regret that, but thank the Lord I made it over. And so I got just a little too hard-headed for my grandmother to whoop, because back then you get a whooping. When you're disobedient, when you did wrong, you're lying, you're stealing, anything you're doing, you got a whooping.
Yes, sir.
So I guess got a little bit too big for my grandmother to whoop. And at 16 years old, my grandmother put me out.
Yes, sir.
16. And that's when I left and I went to Chicago. But I left on my own. But I couldn't stay there with Mama because I wouldn't obey her. So she just told me to go. So I did. So I've been on my own ever since. I hit it hard because I never saw a hungry day in my life until I got in Chicago and gotten grown. Of course, at home we had plenty to eat. Papa would kill 6 and 7 hogs every year. Mama would quilts during the winter months. We had plenty of potatoes, peanuts, popcorn. We had plenty of ham hanging up in the smokehouse. All you had to do was go out there and cut your slice off. Sausage hanging behind the stove. And Mama had plenty of milk, butter. Milk was a nickel a gallon. Butter was a dime a pound. And back in those days, people had plenty. And the white people down there treated us nice. They wouldn't be, but some of them would treat different way. All depends on who he was. And so we were down there on the plantation and the farm, so we knew where we was at. So a lot of them got education. My grandmother told us that one of the families was going to get some education. So we did. So that's Moses. That's my oldest brother. He's the one we took to send him to Greenville, Coleman High. And so we sent him over there, so he got some education. So also my sister, and also my younger brother next to me, Curtis. So just me, I was just what used to call a little black sheep in the family. It was always one of mine, but I got a many whooping. And I remember this incident. I used to make chicken cooks. My job was to make the chicken cook, keep the chickens. And I would pick up the old burnt nails, and Papa would give me a old saw, and I would saw it and botch it up and fix the chicken cook. So I slipped. Papa went away one day. That's my grandfather. He went away one day, and I slipped and got his good saw. And, when you got a kid, he's doing things, a bicycle, fixing things, he just sawing and mess around, and they ain't paying attention, he was just sawing the ground. So Papa slipped up on me, walked up on me, brother. He still he'd come on. I wasn't paying no attention. So I never forget that whooping. I never got another whooping by Papa, because Mama had to get him off of me, because I had to slip and got his saw. And so she stuck with Papa because he had what you call a bull whip, but you whoop mules with. Papa went and got that and doubled that. And it was on me, and Mama had to come to the door and call and tell him stop from whooping me. So I never got no more whooping by Papa no more. Yes. So, but Mama, I got plenty by Mama. And another incident, man, she mentioned this, I got some cousins. So Mama had a bunch of grandchildren. It all come to our home, to the house. And girls and boys, all her grandchildren. So We got one, I just talked to her last week, Hazel. She's down and now, so she's just like a tomboy. So we'd all get in mystery and do things, and Mama would come out, we'd all start pointing the finger. He did well. Mama said, I'll get the one. I'm going to give all of y'all a whooping, every one of them. Get in line. Go out there and get a switch, and she'd give us all a whooping. And Hazel, my cousin, we two sister children, two brother children. When we got to Hazel, Hazel would get on her knees and said, down lame me, down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. And Mama would tap on the shoulder, get away from me, gal. Mama never could whoop Hazel. We tease her about it now. Baby. Never could whoop Hazel. Because every time we get Hazel, she'd always get on her knees. We couldn't whoop nobody when she praying. When she get there, fold her hand, look up at Mama, and now they'll say down there. But she never could whoop Hazel. So I remember that. And things was wonderful back then. I remember them quite a bit. The old time. I never owned a bicycle in my life. Never owned a wagon. I made my wagon. If I wanted a wagon, I'd go out in the woods, cut a tree so big, and take a hot iron and bore holes in it, and make my wagon. I never owned a wagon, never owned a bicycle. But we got by. We did.
The way, when you came back from the peacetime in Germany, how were you treated here? Were you received with open arms?
I had a chance to use the GI Bill when I first came back, because I was in Chicago, to get a mechanic, go to TV school, but I didn't use none of that. Only thing I use now is from the Army is for my medical. And if I need anything from the medical, I'm treated awfully nice so far. I have been treated bad nowhere. In Chicago, over at Kosovo, either here.
Yes, sir.
Since I come out.
It wasn't a lot of discrimination? Or?
No, I know. I haven't saw that since I've been out of the Army. And there was none when it was a little bit, it was none in the Army, because we were soldiers. You was white boy over there, and you get out right down there with it. But when you go to town, then that's when you would call, because they had the white and the colored, section there, which you go and white boys go on one side and colored the same as the club on the post. So you knew that, and so it was discrimination back then when I went in the Army there. But I didn't pay very much attention at the time. Same as down south. When I was 14, 12, and 13 years old, they had colored side and the white side. So we know what side to go to, so we did that. We could catch the bus, you ride the back of the bus. You don't on the back, you go on the back. So we knew what to do back in there.
Okay, thank you so much.